Today we're looking at origin effects, which you know from super damn high quality, not so inexpensive pedals. And what I'm showing you today is a clear indication of how these people tick in their brains. I'm going to show you something a little bit older first. It's literally in a drawer behind me because it's a go-to, which is the Cali 76. Now you know the Cali 76. It's a It's a very popular pedal. Again, not inexpensive, but if you want the classic compression done right, you get the Kali 76. There's even like a dual one where you've got two of them stacked together because dual compression is a thing apparently that people do. Now, this is an 1176. 1176 is one of the classic studio compressors. Why would you do a studio compressor as a pedal? Now, a studio compressor as a pedal, many people have done a Kali 1176 style pedal, is more common. Studio drive? Huh? How does that make sense? Well, it doesn't, but they're going to make it make sense because these people are clearly fans of the vintage style studio gear. Now, I have a Universal Audio 6176, which is literally a 610 preamp and an 1176 in rack form. Now, I've used this on albums with Sebastian Bach and Saga and other people in the studio for years. Do I want it to drive? No, not when I have a vocalist behind it. So the 610 preamp is a great preamp. It's the one thing I've used together with an 1176 from Universal Audio. That thing I've been using for years. Right now, mine's broken. It doesn't turn on anymore. So I got to get it serviced. But the point is, that 610 preamp is super popular. It's very simple. It's got volume preamp. It's a tube preamp. And it's got a high and a low shelf. Now, how is that relevant for guitar? Technically, it isn't. But if you like that thing and you go and you take it, and then you say, but I'm a guitar player, but I actually want that. I want the feel of a high-end classic studio pre, just more of it. And then maybe take the frequencies and tweak them for guitar. Is that a concept that sucks? Could be dumb, because I mean, you don't want the studio preamp to really drive and distort. But you could. And then if you take the circuit and you push it further so it's relevant for guitar, so more drive, more distortion, drive/distortion, you know what I'm saying. And tweak it for guitar/bass, because there's a bass version as well, then let's see what happens. That's what they did. And the same thing for one of the very, very, very classic equalizers, the Pultec. I'm going to show you the pedals. They're right here. So we got both of them on the table. The DCX Boost, that's the guitar version, is technically a 610 preamp with its low frequency and high frequency. On mine, I can switch frequencies for each of the bands, but you don't want that here because these are pre-picked for guitar. And again, there is a bass version where those frequencies are more bass related. Now that's what this is. It can be in EQ mode where this is still driving, but not as much. And here we got more, but something else also changes. Now, this is technically a Pultec. Now, Pultec has a low frequency band. It's got a high frequency attenuation. So pretty much a high frequency shelf where you can kind of attenuate, which this has as well, the cut. So the more you dial that in, the less high end you get. And it really just has the mids. Now on the Pultec, I've got more options. This is again picked for guitar. So what if you have a Pultec, one of the classic 4-rack unit, is it 4? I think so. Massive EQs that you see in every freaking studio in the world, but reimagined so that you can push it further into drive. I mean, a Pultec is never going to distort like this. But the idea behind it is like, we love studio gear. Let's bastardize it and find out how we can make it work for guitar, but with the idea of a Pultec/610 preamp behind it. Now, the 610 has just been reimagined by Universal Audio in their Max compressor, which has a couple of different compressors, and also a 610 drive. It's just a drive knob, which is cool. But I'm going to tell you right away that this kicks its ass quite a bit. So yes, it's nice. You've got two compressors and a 610 in digital form in that UA pedal. This kicks its ass. It's different and dirty. So the great thing of the MEQ driver is pushing the mids in one of these three bands and then you can roll off the top end if it gets too harsh. But this is pretty much your cocked wah, lead sound, beautiful mids pedal. So it's an EQ, but it's a very limited EQ, but it's just what you need as a guitar player. And here we have low frequency, cut, or boost. No notch in the middle, so we're going to assume that that's the middle. High frequency, cut or boost. Where's the crossover? I could look that up. It wasn't in the literature, but I don't care. Use your ears. That's not where your ears. That's where your ears. So level and drive, it's very simple to understand. Technically, see it as an overdrive, okay? In EQ mode, you can have this voice flat in the middle, which means it's literally just not really affecting the top end too much. You can have it in dark. You can have it in medium. So this is for the top end to roll off. And they have this adaptive something happening where in EQ mode, it cuts the top end more, the more distortion there is. So technically, I think that's how it works, in a dynamic way, pull back your playing and have it more clean. The top end should sparkle more. The more you dig in and the more it drives, the more the top end should be attenuated, so not to be too harsh. Of course, you give it more drive, that again applies. And you can have that voicing flat, which means it doesn't do that as far as I understand. And then dark and medium is how it behaves. However, in overdrive mode, that adaptive thing is always there. It always will roll off the top end in a very subtle and beautiful way. And the same thing here, we have this adaptive on or off. And then of course you can cut the top end to your liking. We're going to start with the DCX Boost. We do not take it into 8 amps. That is way too much stuff to test, given the fact that we have 2 pedals. And at the very end, I'll show you what I did in the track at the very beginning, where I pushed the DCX Boost with the MEQ driver. Remember, if you're a bass player, you get that DCX Boost in a bass version where the frequencies are tailored to your instrument. All that being said, we're going to go take this shabby Shabbat. I mean, look at her. She's all beat up. This guitar's seen better days, even though it's brand spanking new. I can't hold a pick, but I also can't put this guitar down. I have not played anything since I got it, because holy crapola, she's one of the best instruments in the room. You also don't want to look at the price, which explains why she's one of the best instruments in the room. So we're going into the MEQ driver, DCX Boost, into the Eventide H90, which is off, and then into Tuner, which is going into the Tone King Sky King, and then of course other amps that are on later. So right now we've got a clean tone, which sounds like so. Got a bit of noise in here. It's a studio with loads of lights and stuff. Let's start right here. That's what I call transparent. You don't even hear it. And that's what you want. You want the thing to be not there, but just add when it adds. Damn, that's spanky. That's just beautiful. So in the middle. the beautiful bass roll-off, you could probably use this as a boost, like a tube screamer, to tame a overdriven amp if you wanted that. Even on full blast, it's not too much. I love that. It just thickens. So I'm digging in a bit to show you how that top end gets tamed the more crunchiness you add. That's called dynamic. I'm gonna crank that up a bit here. Oh man, it sounds exactly like the amp, just with that on it. Wow, if you know what I mean. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Yes, it rolls off that top end. I kind of like the top end there. So, hey, voice flat. I'm going to go into overdrive mode. Even at drastic settings, not too shabby. Now this clearly has way more gain than a 610 ever would have. 610 is meant as a mic preamp and not drive like this. But if this is based on a 610, then holy crap, does it drive beautifully. Obviously this doesn't have tubes and all this stuff. It's inspired by, and then they took it into the guitar realm. But holy crap, hola, is it beautiful drive. Let me put some reverb on there. I'm sorry, it's just a phenomenally feeling and sounding drive that can probably kick any amp into, you know, where it's supposed to go. Let's look at the MEQ driver in front of the clean amp. Okay, we need to fix this. 1, 2, 3. Magic! So here's clean. So if you just wanted to push the mids, you could. At 800. The top end. Push it at 1.3. It's a mid-pushy kind of pedal, and it's not inexpensive, but damn, is it nice! And then at 1, which is in between the two. Or dig a hole into it. For that kind of stuff. So we're gonna hit the adapt. See what that does. It's beautiful. It does retain the sparkle when it's needed. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm enjoying every single minute of it. So this is a killer mid-pushy thing. Let's push this over. Gonna take that into the MVP 66. No reverb, which is the Morgan MVP 66, which is JTM typey thing, which sounds like so. Damn, that's what you want from your boost. You want it to stay, you want your amp to sound exactly like your amp, just controllable in front of it. That's impressive, I'm going to say. Oh, by the way, they're paying me for this video, but that's not why it's impressive. You have ears, use them. Come on! And now fun. Yeah, that is just brilliant. I mean, we can go more, of course. Pedal tone licks. You can get a course about that on, you know, Spectre Digital, Spectre Academy. This is great. Leslie, go to the, there you go. Holy balls. You saw it had a little bit too much bite and then bam, cut it off. You got to know your pedals, but then you can do things. Let's go back to the DCX Boost. We're going to the Marshall JCM800, which came back from France and should be working again. Oh, yeah. Did you see how I could tame that amp, get a little bit of that low end out? But it's just highly tunable. And everything, any setting, I mean, look at no low end, loads of high end. Every setting is just usable. So you can't really fuck up. Let's get the blue one back. Magic is delayed. Cutting it doesn't make that much sense. It's just good. We're gonna go back to the Tone King and we're gonna look at both pedals. And there we are. So Tone King is right here. So Tone King's right here. So I could bring in a beautiful overdrive thing here. And you have low and high. And now here, you can fiddle with the mid. So technically, you should get both. I mean, okay, I get that's an investment, but they're both good. So yes, the bottom line is not bargain basement. Immediately you recognize the high quality buildmanship. That's a word. It's a high quality buildmanship. However, on the edges, as I noticed, and then when Leslie was fiddling with them, she said, "Oh, these are rather sharp. This isn't so bad. These are rather sharp on the edges." I mean, if I go back and forth, I probably could maybe cut my fingers. It's nice industrial design, but might be worth taming that a little bit, Origin. Other than that, these are pretty unique because you take studio gear and guitarify it in pedal form. Because you like studio gear, but you're also a pedal nerd. What happens? You build these. But every single tone is there. When I played them over the last couple of weeks, I just got good sounds. I was just getting inspired stuff. Can you get great drives at lesser investment? Absolutely. However, there's something about these that just get you the goods. There's never ever, in any setting, did I have anything that wasn't fun and highlighted my amp and the guitar. They didn't get in the way, they just added, they never subtracted from the tone of the amp or the guitar or my dynamics or anything. So there is a reason why you spend it with these. I mean, not always, okay? There's pedals where you spend a lot of money and it's total bullshit. With these, I have to say, there is a reason why you spend the money. They are good. They're highly specified kind of drives in a very niche thing with the studio thing, but who cares? They're good drives. And if you like one, you probably want the other, and stack them and just create almost any kind of sound you want. And even for the metal guys, I'm thinking that the DCX Boost is a good idea because you can tame that low end and have nice control over the treble, push it with the EQ or the overdrive option, push your amp and kick it into this really brutal world. It's pretty much like what your tube screamer will do, but you can actually control it. But what do I know? I just got paid for this, so clearly everything I say holds no value to most of you, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you heard it. When you buy it at Thomann, Sweetwater, or anywhere else, pretty much you have a chance to give it back. So there's absolutely zero reason for me to not be truthful, because if you give it back and you don't like it, then you don't come back to the channel and watch again. So it would be pretty dumb of me to exaggerate or do anything. These are good, period. Done. Video done. Link below. Thank you, Leslie, for switching. Support me on all the socials. It helps. It really does. Go to Instagram and all that stuff. If you like what I do, please help me. Help me! You know, like Rapunzel with the hair. Animals at the hint.